gofirst, India's third largest airline, is in battle with an American engine manufacturer called Pratt & Whitney. And that gofirst was forced to apply to the NCLT, which is the National Company Law Tribunal for protection because of the failure of these Pratt & Whitney engines. Now, viewers, can an airline, which was profitable till recently, great performance, very popular, just collapse? And the other question I want to ask is, what is the responsibility of that American company valued in billions called Pratt & Whitney? They and their parent company, which is a company called Raytheon, ladies and gentlemen, they want to do business in India, and they owe not a shred of responsibility, it seems, to the Indian aviation sector or to Indian passengers. The real story of the crisis in gofirst, when I'm going to be joined by its CEO in a few minutes here in the studio, this is what has happened.
India's third largest airline, gofirst, has filed for insolvency. The reason? An American engine manufacturing company's failure to deliver.
India's homegrown airline gofirst is moving court against an American engine manufacturer. The airline is taking the battle to a court in Delaware in America after the engine manufacturer Pratt & Whitney refused to follow the Singapore arbitration award.
Few weeks ago, the civil aviation minister spoke on the issue at the Republic Summit.
There are issues with engine manufacturers. I'm not going to deny that. Close to about, if I'm not wrong, about 50 to 55 planes out of our fleet of 700 today are grounded because of engine issues. As far as engine orders are concerned and engine supply is concerned, I'm confident it will iron itself out. Yes, Pratt & Whitney is going through many supply chain issues, and we have tried to impress upon them that our sector cannot be stymied because of their supply chain issues.
In their press release issued this evening, gofirst made it clear that if Pratt & Whitney were to comply with the orders of the Emergency Arbitrators Award, gofirst would be able to return to full operations by August-September 2023.
This is the story of how an American company has plunged an Indian airline into crisis. Let's debate.
I'm joined at this point by Sharmila, who's the business editor for Republic Digital. Thank you, Sharmila. And we have with us also the CEO of gofirst, Kaushik Kona. Thank you. Thank you. Bad day for you out there.
Very bad.
Very bad. Worst day.
Never dreamt of this. When I rejoined the gofirst on 14th August 2020, the job and the target and perhaps the vision was to make the airline spring back and get 72 aircraft in operation as soon as possible. This was never thought of. Unfortunately, Pratt & Whitney, the engine manufacturer, has completely deceived us. It's been a horrible story for last 3 years.
Now,
and yeah,
can I just interrupt you there? First point is, gofirst is part of the Wadia group.
Absolutely.
Right? As we know, Nasli Wadia and the Wadia family are one of the biggest names in Indian business. Why would, and the owners of Britannia, why would the Wadia group face a funds crunch? Why would you just back the airline for longer? Just want to get that question out of the way.
Well, I think it's a very relevant question, and perhaps it may be in the minds of many.
Yes.
And just to give you a perspective, Wadia Group is perhaps the longest living group to the extent of knowledge which I have. It's a 287th year of existence.
Yeah.
And Wadia Group is known for the longevity of the businesses. The Britannia, which you talked about, is 103 years old.
Yes.
Bombay Dang is 150 years old.
Right.
Bombay Burma is 160 years old.
So why are you giving up on gofirst?
It's not giving up. I think we are pushed to wall by Pratt & Whitney. I mean,
How can you be pushed to the wall by an American company? Don't you have a contract with them?
We have contract. We have contract, and we have a lot of I would say, obligations which Pratt & Whitney has agreed.
How many planes do you have?
As of now, as we speak, we have taken 56 aircrafts powered by Pratt & Whitney engines. And total we have, as of now, operating around 55 aircraft.
You mean more than half your planes are grounded?
Absolutely. More than half of the planes are grounded.
But what I find bizarre here, Sharmila, is that more than half the planes are grounded, and the company which supplies the engines doesn't seem to care very much. I mean, over to you, Sharmila. I mean, I think this is a kind of unexpected crisis, not the kind we see every day. There's a bigger story here. Sharmila, over to you, if you have a question for Kaushik.
Thank you, Arnab. The question over here is that how could an American company tighten the noose on gofirst over the years systematically? First, we see 7% of gofirst airlines grounded, then 31% and 50% last year. So who has been watching this story? How has it progressively been affecting an airline's health? And with such a Indian aviation being such a huge success story at the moment, we are actually watching a contrast as we speak, and a slower poisoning of an airline. So has nobody been watching this dire move by an American company is the question of the hour.
Well, I fully agree. It's been, and it's very important to know that Pratt & Whitney is a part of a Raytheon group,
yes,
which is supposed to have a 150 billion market cap and a 67 billion turnover, and it's a giant, and it also has a lot of exposure into the aviation, defense aviation market. Pratt & Whitney obviously is the engine manufacturer which provided us a vision that their engines are not only fuel efficient, but they are supposed to be reliable. And the
what's wrong with the engines? What's gone wrong with the engines? Just in layman terms, if you can explain.
So engines are like they are failing. They are failing like I mean, it's like a pack of cards.
You don't have a warranty. I mean, just very layman terms out here, Kaushik. If I buy a car or I buy a pressure cooker, there's a warranty. Are you saying an engine of a plane carries no warranty? I mean, it's bizarre.
No, I think it's very important to know that Pratt & Whitney, when it started to market these engines, they not only gave us the representation that these engines are going to last for more than 15,000 hours, they also have signed a warranty agreement with us. They also have signed a fleet maintenance program with us, which gives us right to the engines being serviceable.
So why don't you go and fight them?
So we actually, we thought that Pratt & Whitney, being such a large organization, they would have senses that they have to perform their obligations. We continuously pestered them for last 3 years. Unfortunately, they kept on saying that, yeah, they have some issues, they are trying to do it. But finally, when they bulldozed, in the sense they did not give us the engines which are due, and even as per the contract, there are 3 things which are important. One is that they have to give the engines which are serviceable at all times. If the engines fail, they have a guarantee. And if the engines fail, they also have to supply.
Don't tell me that you have no recourse.
We have recourse, and that's what we have done. Recourse is that when we found that Pratt & Whitney is not behaving, is not adhering to any of the contractual obligations, in spite of repeated reminders, requests, we finally went into arbitration. And after long thought, after
what happened there?
Okay, it's very important to know that in arbitration, well, normally arbitration would take 1 year, 2 years, but we also found that there is an emergency arbitration process. And we
Did you win or lose?
Sorry?
Did you win or lose the arbitration?
Oh, I mean, I'm very happy that we won.
And then, so then why is the plane grounded?
Okay, let me just complete on what happened. So as late as on 30th of March, we got an arbitration award, which is the emergency arbitration award, completely in our favor. And based on that, we were expecting to receive the engines as promised, as
then
part of
happened?
Unfortunately, we found that Pratt & Whitney, even after getting that award, and they themselves had given in writing to the arbitrator that they will abide by the award, started behaving to find loopholes, and therefore we again reached out to the arbitrator. He he again reinforced second time.
Where was this arbitration?
It was at Singapore International Arbitration Center.
Just 1 minute, just one. You're telling me, and this is an incredible story. Incredible story. Can I just paraphrase what you're telling me? Because I have to pinch myself, Sharmila, to believe that this is actually happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Jyotiraditya Scindia should be doing something about it. I cannot believe here, you have India's third largest airline, one of the world's biggest passenger markets out here. Half the engines fail, the planes are grounded, the arbitration happens, GoFirst wins the arbitration, not once, not twice, and Pratt & Whitney says, we don't give a damn.
Absolutely.
You can go to hell, basically, they've told you this. This is incredible. I mean, how is this company, Pratt & Whitney, operating in India, and how is Raytheon operating in India without consequences, Sharmila, for something as bizarre as this? And I don't think viewers, passengers would know the story.
Absurd, absolutely absurd.
Well, I would also...
It's absolutely absurd because Pratt & Whitney has asked Pratt & Whitney has been asked to deliver at least 10 engines by April 27th so that GoFirst does not crash. It's as little as 10 engines and the rest by December. And it's solely because of this non-delivery that GoFirst is facing this debacle today.
But you know, the question there is, Sharmila, that there has to be, we have to have some leverage as a country. We have to have some leverage as a country. If an American company treats an Indian company that has faith in it in this way, then I think it sets a very dangerous precedent. It could be Pratt & Whitney today in one sector, it could be anyone tomorrow. Do we have Group Captain Augustine with us? Because I was told he's there with us. Is he joining us? Okay, we are checking his audio, but this is absolutely bizarre. So what, GoFirst, aren't you going to fight back? I thought Nasli Wadia has an image of being a fighter.
He is a fighter, and he is a 79 years young fighter, and going by his name, we have already not only approached for the enforcement at Delaware court at US. In fact, I am happy to...
So are you saying you're going to fight in the US right now? You're going to fight, take the battle home to them?
Yeah. So what we have been advised is, first of all, because Pratt & Whitney chose to defy the arbitrator award, that too of the Singapore International Arbitration Center, we should enforce our rights, and therefore we have filed for the enforcement, not only at the US Delaware court, we are also evaluating which other options we have for enforcement of this order.
We have Group Captain Augustine who's joining us. Augustine Vinod, we lean on him very often for civil aviation issues. This is crazy, Group Captain Augustine, you know. This entire episode is mind-numbing.
Mind-numbing is to say the least, and I just take a leaf from the CEO GoFirst. See, the engine had serious technical issues, and my suspicion is probably the OEM had some inkling of this technical issues. And if this was US, Arnab, we would have gone to at least the FAA would have gone to the bottom of this as to how this engine was given clearance and how it got sold to so many operators.
But how can they say, Group Captain Augustine, that I'm sorry, we can't do anything, we're really sorry, we weren't going to help you with the engines? Because Raytheon is a parent company, and Raytheon is supplying engines and aircrafts worth billions to Ukraine. You know, they can deliver 6 national advanced surface-to-air missile system batteries for Ukraine. And they made a lot of money out of this war. But they're basically telling an Indian airline to buzz off. And Raytheon has no consequences, will continue to want to do business in India.
Absolutely, and they're fishing in troubled waters in Ukraine. No, I keep saying this. The MICC, the Military Industrial Congressional Complex, about whom, Ike Eisenhower warned the entire world about on his last day on the chair. He told us that be very, very careful of this MICC, and MICC is fishing in troubled waters, and who's paying for it? An Indian carrier is paying for it. And today, whatever has happened is fairly and squarely on Pratt & Whitney's shoulder, not on GoFirst's shoulder, not on any, absolutely kudos to the way GoFirst has
but I'm surprised there's no solidarity in the aviation sector out here. The other airlines, I think Indigo also uses some of these airlines, and some of their planes have been grounded, but their airline is still flying because their grounded planes are only a small part of the fleet.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is Indigo very happy that GoFirst is going down? Why don't they work together with you?
Well, I think I would not like to comment on that because it's a competition, it's a competitive world. But I think what we have learned in the last 6 months or maybe more is the Indian market is growing, and I don't think there is any dearth of demand. So I don't think that we have any absence. I mean, we can still perform, and we can still grow faster.
Last question to Sharmila. She's been trying to reach you through the day. Sharmila.
Yes, so what are you now armed with to face this historic moment in Indian aviation? Because clearly you are going to set some sort of precedent in the global arena when it comes to, because our aviation story stands on very firm ground right now. And if we are being bullied to the corner by an engine supplier, then we need to stand up in some way. What are your next steps?
So Sharmila, I fully agree that we are bullied, and that too by a US major, Raytheon Group. And I am also very alarmed to also bring out the fact that Raytheon's group CEO has also gone on record that they have the problems, and they are still not able to clear the issues. So I think it's a point where they have not tried to address the Indian market. Maybe they don't like Indian market. Maybe they perhaps know that nobody in India wants them, and that is the reason why perhaps they have bullied us. But I think the fact of the matter is, you asked what a very relevant question. What are we armed with? We are armed with the truth. We are armed with the contracts. We are armed with the award. And I think that's where we will try to execute our award, try to make ourselves visible. Unfortunately, the action which we had to take was to ensure that we protect the assets which we have.
Will you come back?
Absolutely. The reason why we took the action today, as decided by board after evaluating various options.
I say this, Kaushik, and I'll close with that today GoFirst is going down. But I'll tell you, viewers, how we need to look at it. GoFirst is temporarily grounded. That's the way things are. But 4 airlines in the world, Sharmila, have been affected by double-digit grounding, which means more than 10% of their fleet are grounded. And 2 out of the 4, that's 50% of the airlines, are Indian airlines. This is a problem. This is an India-specific problem. And I think the bigger story for the American companies, if you want to do business in India, don't take Indian businesses for granted. I think we should fight back. Let's see what happens here. I thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. That's the inside story of GoFirst, and you can read more about it on republicworld.com. Thank you, Kaushik. Thank you. Tough day for you, but let's see what happens next.
Thank you, Arnab. Thank you, Sharmila, for this valuable time.
Thank you very much. And viewers, that's a breaking news story. On the other side, we have a breaking news interview with DK Shivakumar, in which he says something very interesting about his chief ministerial aspirations. That's his interview with Shawan Sen. On the other side, see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Good night and goodbye.